All right. We've got an episode of Labor. We're going to talk about patience. I'm here joined with Karl Fowlkes, my good friend. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Life's good. The weather's good in New York today.
It is.
Yeah.
It is. So, I really appreciate you taking the time, man, to come in. I'm really excited, actually, because you're like this one guy I really love to talk to about things because we go real deep. I can always gain new perspectives from talking to you, so I'm excited to learn about, why patience is something that's really important in your life.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited to be here, man. I think my motto over the past couple months have just really been, don't be in a rush, be urgent. You know, there's two different things. Like, you don't have to be in a rush to move with urgency. And I think a lot of people just don't understand that balance. So I've been kind of just trying to understand that, everyone's path is different. Everyone's moment is different. You got to be urgent. You got to wake up and want it. But you can't be in a rush because you're going to make a lot of mistakes, unwarranted mistakes when you're in a rush.
Those are facts, man. And I'm trying to learn that myself. Like, I'm always rushing. Like, it's hard in New York, It's like everyone's like has this hustle mentality. You got to get as much done in one day as you can. Like, time is money. But sometimes you just got to be more present,
Yeah. Learning how to be present and that's tough too. I mean, because we're always thinking about things that are 5 years from now, 2 months from now. So it's a balance, man. That's another. I associate patience with balance because when you're balanced, patience is something that comes natural. It comes secondhand. Like, when you can see and not be afraid of what's going to happen tomorrow, because we never know. We can try our hardest to we could try our hardest to really schedule out life, but then life hits you, and then you have to adjust, and you realize you can't control these things. Life's gonna take its course. Life's gonna run its course. So I think there's a little patience that I've been developing, just understanding that I can't control every time something bad's gonna happen in my life.
Yeah.
But it took a while. It took a while for me to really lose that sort of control, because I always thought, man, I can control that. You can't. You just can't.
So before we dive too deep into this, if you
Sure.
don't mind, just talking a little bit about introducing who you are for people out there listening. Who is Karl Fowlkes, and where are you on your journey in life right now?
Yeah, man, I'm a young guy who I feel like I've always been an underdog. That's my newest tat. I got it right here. It says underdog on my right hand, my right arm. Sorry. Graduated law school last year. Passed the bar. I'm an attorney based in Philly, Philly and New York. Kind of go back and forth, but looking to move and transition probably to New York full time soon. But I'm in a corporate space now, startup world, but I want to get into entertainment space full time, fashion, music, art, all of it. I think it's connected, sports, and I think I'm in rooms. I think that's all you can ask for at some point. You get into, you put yourself in rooms to give yourself an opportunity, and I'm doing that. So right now I call these years the building that book years. I'm probably not gonna be ready in my 20s to kind of probably mobilize and do it on my own. But as long as I'm building that book of people that I can call, who are also moving forward in their lives, it'll work out. Patience.
All right. And so why is patience why is that a constant theme in your life, and why is it something you want to talk about?
Because it makes people go crazy. You look at people, they're just never happy about where they are. They're always comparing themselves to other people via Instagram, Twitter, just everything. In New York, it's the worst for that, because there's always a guy walking around with better clothes. There's always a guy who's who's just doing it better than you in the city, and you're in that constant comparison of, man, why isn't this happening for me? That guy's 21 and he has this, and this, and I'm 25 and I don't have this, this, and this. Like, why? But you lose a lot of productivity thinking about those moments. Those are the worst moments you can spend in your day. Like thinking about other people and like what they're doing.
It does nothing, right?
It does nothing.
So how do you practice it? Like, and yeah, I just asked you that first. How do you practice patience then?
For a while I did like the running away tactic, I'll call it. Like getting off social media. People will do that and like, oh, me, that's running away. Like I should be able to look at another person's picture and not feel any certain way. Like I'm not gonna run away from anything. So you try that sort of stuff, and then you're just you talk to yourself every day, man. You wake up and you realize you are who you are, for better or for worse. And the day you get comfortable with that is the day the day practicing patience becomes easier. I feel like I had sort of an epiphany, where it's just like I was like, man, I am who I am, and that's it. Like I can't do anything about it. It's gonna happen the way it happens. I'll be urgent. I'll put my foot on the gas, but I also won't overthink things.
Are there any like habits you implement on a daily to practice it? Like
patience. I'd say like I don't meditate. I don't do anything like that. I think a lot of people are in like meditation. I go to the gym every day, or 4 or 5 times a week, as much as I can. Weight training helps me a lot. I think habit in general, not just like one specific habit. Like habit in general will help you. And I think when you continuously break habits, you're probably not headed toward any sort of direction. It's like the lack of direction that breeds like the most impatience. Like when you don't have a direction, but when you have habits, when you're like you're crossing your T's and dotting your I's, I feel like you can always go home at night and be like I can be patient because you're doing what you feel like you're doing what you're supposed to do.
it's almost like you feel steady.
Yeah.
Because you sort of have a plan in place and you're following through.
Yeah.
With your habits. So
yeah, following through, man. That's important. Following through is really, really important. Yeah, you know what? This is like patience is so crazy because I almost feel like it's like no one's patient. Like people who are really poor, people who are really rich, your boss, like it's always like, man, this assignment that I assigned you was like the most important thing in the world. It's not. It's really not, guy. Like that happens all the time. And you're just like, man, it's not that important. So I stopped. You really gotta like measure that out. Like, all right, worst comes to worst, if I lose my job, like, or if I lose something, I wouldn't be the first. So it's like that looking into like what life really is. I think if you keep that perspective, that worldly perspective, that there's people who can't eat, there's people who can't sleep, there's people who have diseases, there's people who are unhealthy. Like if you keep that sort of perspective, like I feel like it's very easy for us to be patient, but we get caught up in the day-to-day fumbles of life, like the day-to-day, trains late. Now your mood changed. Now you're probably gonna be you're moody coming into work in their office. It's small stuff like that. I don't get it.
I mean, I used to be like that. That's something I'm working on a lot because I value patience too.
Yeah.
And what I hate the most is when something happens that gets me angry and I react to it. I feel like I'm very reactive, or I used to be more reactive to things. And then I reflect back, I'm like, damn, I just made myself look like a fool because I gave my energy away. And that person won. They won because they put me out of my
Facts.
sort of like, I don't know, normal state.
Yeah.
They saw me in a vulnerable place that I don't like to be in.
And we let them do that to us. Like we let them do that. Happens to me too.
Yeah. You have complete control of how you. But that's the thing. React. When you react, that's saying that something happened and something happened to you and you just react a certain way. When with patience, I feel like in any circumstance, anything that happens, it doesn't make you react. It makes you sort of reflect.
Yeah.
Like understand what the situation is, and then you can, you know, react any way you want. You gotta think about it first. It's like slowing things down in a way.
Yeah, and I think a lot of times people can think you're being like passive aggressive too when you're not like. Because I'll say stuff like a lot of times like when someone asks me a question like, they'll be like, "Oh, you know, how do you feel about this? Do you think I should do this?" I'll be like, I don't know what's best for your life. Because I don't like, you know, when someone like I don't ask other people like what should I do, because like I'm gonna have to deal with those consequences. There's certain people you ask for advice, like let's just say that, like, you know, there's certain people you admire, you trust their opinion, it's a very vetted opinion. But then there's other times where, you know, why would I ask someone? I'm gonna have to be the guy who deals with the consequences before and after. So if someone can give this unsolicited, uneducated, you know, more than likely a non-caring opinion about how they feel about something you have to do in your life, but it doesn't matter. So a lot of times when people ask that question for me, like, yo, what do you think about this? I'm like, I really don't think anything about it. Like, that's something you're gonna have to go back home and. Like,
I've been on the end of that too.
Yeah, you have to go back home and like think about it yourself.
It's like, Carl, I want advice, man.
Nah,
I get nothing.
Nah, I was Jay-Z does the best. Says this the best. Like, that's a guy I admire. I look up to. He says it all the time. He's like, how can I tell a young dude about like his path? Like, there's no answers to this. Just because I'm Jay-Z at the top, like, I don't know what corner needs to turn in your life for you to like be successful. Or nah, I can give you general advice. Like, work hard. Like, be patient. Have faith. Yeah, I could say that, but people don't want to hear that. That's like too generic. Like, so oftentimes I'll say something like, you know, that's something you gotta go home and deal with. It's pretty messed up, but that's just what it is.
That's what it is. You have to sort of understand that. You have to accept that.
It's a scary thing.
You know, and you touched on something that I think is very true. Is like you didn't say this word for word, but it's like you need to care less in a sense. You don't have to care so much about things. Like, especially when it comes to work, like it's easy to get stressed and get anxiety over like deadlines and things you have to do.
Oh yeah.
But really, and I practice this, like when you care less about it, you know it's gonna get done.
Yeah.
You know it's gonna get done, but don't put so much pressure and weight on yourself. Practice some patience. Like,
yeah, but what if it doesn't get done?
You need to know it will get done.
But my point, my question, what's the worst? What happens if it doesn't get done?
Right.
Like,
Well, it's just a job.
Yeah, like you
realize
know what I mean?
It's just a job. There's so many millions of jobs out there. And one, do you really love that job so much?
Yeah.
Because a lot of people don't.
There's only a certain amount of jobs that where you forget something, it's going to like impact a lot of people. There's only like a small percentage of like jobs that like when you don't do something, like the community is gonna be affected as a whole. But like if I don't put cheese on a croissant, and I'm working at Starbucks, and not that like I'm not, you know what, if I don't put cheese on a croissant at Starbucks, like come on man, like I didn't put cheese on it.
Damn, I love that analogy.
It doesn't matter. Go eat your sandwich, and then that person who gets that cheese sandwich, don't come back in here, like causing a storm because you didn't get cheese. Well, I'm just saying, like this is like the sort of like dynamic that I see every day. I'm like, this world is nuts. I can't. Yeah. I gotta go live in like in another universe. Like someone won't get cheese. They'll ask for a croissant sandwich with cheese, and the croissant sandwich will come out without cheese. And now all of a sudden they're entitled because they paid $1.75 to, you know, I need the, you know, where's my cheese? Like I deserve another. Like nah, come on, man. Like that person is going through stuff in their life. They make mistakes, and there's a way to go about it. Like there's always a way to go about it. Like don't come in acting like the world has it out against you because, you know, I'm having a terrible day. I don't want cheese on my sandwich. No, like. If you wanted cheese on your sandwich, hey, I'm sorry, you know, can I get a sandwich with cheese on it? Patience. That's the sort of like, don't like lose yourself in these moments when it takes patience. It takes like measured. You have to be measured, man. You have to be calculated. You can't do that to people. People do that to each other all the time.
It goes back to like giving your energy away. Like I believe you have a certain amount of energy every day, and it's up to you to decide how you use it. Are you going to give it away in instances where something's going to put you down or you're going to feel angry? Or are you going to be productive with that energy and not let those things bother you?
Yeah.
You know? So, patience is something you practice, something you value. But was there any point in your life where you weren't patient, or like what happened? Like, what was that moment where you realized I need to be more patient?
Uh, yeah, definitely over the past like 7 months, I just felt like I was like, I think a lot of people have anxiety, right? Like, anxiety is a big thing. There was moments where I would just like kind of freaking out, just like
Over what?
everything. Like, oh, I'm not where I need to be. Oh, job is stressing me out. Oh, this girl's not texting me back. Like, what did I do? What did I say? Like, just everything. Every situation I realized, like, yo, I would just like, but it could feel like the world's just mounting on you. And it was just one day I was like, man, I can't live like this. Like, I'm gonna like, I'm gonna drive myself off a cliff. Like, I can't live the rest of my life not being happy, not seeing the fruits of life because, things are happening the way I want them to happen. Like, this isn't like life isn't a schedule. Life isn't a big schedule where you say, by 30 I want to have kids. By 32 I want to be a millionaire. By 37, no, it doesn't happen like that. And if you are living life like that, you're probably not living. Like, things change. Like, that's just what not life is in a nutshell. So I've been trying to adjust in that way and just kind of, with that being said, I think the patience piece is key because when things aren't happening the way you want, you got to be able to see that end goal. You can't lose sight of like whatever your purpose is just because things aren't going that way. And I think that's the flip side to it. Like, you got to care. You got to care less, like we talked about, but you also got to care a lot. Life struggles, day-to-day struggles. I have a kid now. I have a relationship that's going wrong. My mom and dad have a broken relationship or whatever's going on. Like, you got to be able to be like, this is bad. I'm gonna manage the situation. I'm gonna stay focused though. I'm gonna like really keep my eye on the prize. Like, I'm not gonna let this break me down and just like ruin my motivation or my happiness. You can't let life break you down that way.
So what is your prize? What is your purpose?
My purpose? I don't think anyone would believe me. That's why I don't really say it often. My purpose is definitely to be like, to help more people than I hurt. I mean, to really bring joy and energy and spirit. I think I've been blessed with like endless confidence and faith, like the ability to like to really see the good out of every situation, inspire. I think I really was blessed with that gift to like always, stay confident, stay focused, not be down too hard on it about myself or any situation. I think that I think only a special group of people had that. If you look in history, like the Martin Luther Kings of the world, or like, and I'm not by no means comparing myself to that, but I'm saying like, if you look at those guys, there was always that sort of, like, when things went bad, they didn't go away, they didn't go awry, they didn't go crazy. They focused. They like really. That's when they stepped up.
Yeah, they stood for whatever they believed.
When things went bad, they stepped up. They didn't like go away. They didn't run away and say, I'm hopping off social media.
But it's execution.
Yeah.
It's execution.
It is.
Because everyone has an idea of what they want to do or how they want the world to change, how they want to help people. But it doesn't mean shit unless you actually go through with it and do something about it.
Yes. Yes. Very true. That's scary too, though. I think what you said is very, very scary because I think that same almost in that same sort of desperateness of like executing definitely wears on people. They like lose patience. They always feel like they're not doing enough, or it like almost deters your focus. It's like, yes, you need to execute, but you need to grow as a person. You need to develop. You gotta kind of like life hype too. Like, you're not gonna just wake up one day and just open the biggest soup kitchen in New York. It's scary because I have that same battle with myself all the time. How I need to execute. Everybody says these days about how they want to be great and how they want to be in this world and do that and that. But I'm also just like, all right, I'm doing what I need to do at the same time, man. I can't be walking around thinking I'm not doing enough like all the time. Like, you're gonna go crazy.
But I think we just do something.
Yes.
And by doing something that's not posting on social media, doing this and that, like, do something physically, like, get yourself out there, little by little. You're not gonna change the world over a day. Like, putting 10 minutes or something today, 10 minutes or something tomorrow, every day, that's 10 minutes more than you did yesterday. Like, little by little, you can. The thing is, I think you have to start doing things to believe you're accomplishing something.
Right.
Because once you actually see something coming to life, then you really start getting behind it. It's like, wait, this is a real thing. I can really make a change.
Right. Yeah, you really can. And, yeah, I mean, that's why I'm sure you're really excited about this project, because, you know, it just gets the juices flowing, you know. Whether this is the right one or is the end, it could very well be. Could take you to a place where you want to be at. But the fact that it's getting your juices going, the fact that, like, it's mentally stimulating you and you're getting, you know, to talk to people in a different way, it'll help you in ways you probably can't imagine, that you probably can't even see at this moment.
No, I mean, I already noticing the effects. Like,
Yeah.
Me personally, I'm gonna get a lot out of this, regardless how successful this is. But
Facts. Yeah.
talking to you, talking to anybody else, anybody I
Yeah.
talk to,
Right.
I can learn from.
Yeah.
And the goal is to sort of, it goes back to how. I want to try to uncover, by these conversations with different people, how can I be happy? How can I get over anxiety? How can I deal with, you know, being more open, or, you know, whatever the patience. You know, there's so many different topics we're going to cover.
Yeah.
And the important thing is not why it's important to be that way, it's how can I be that way. You know, it's like, what are the things I have to implement on a daily, yearly basis that's going to get me to the place I want to be.
Yeah, man.
And that's execution.
It really is. It has to be execution. You know, I think with patience though, I really ask like everybody I'm around, like, to like just kind of don't make such impulsive decisions all the time. Like, be impulsive, like, you know, like, go to New York when you want to go to New York, but like, don't just speak. Like, don't you gotta watch the way you make people feel. And words without like a purpose behind the words are like bad. Like,
yeah.
You could like offend someone, but if there's a purpose and there's a good purpose behind the words, like, you know, I think that's different from you just like, you know, going off and just saying whatever. And that's what I mean by like patience and restraint. Like, I think all those things go hand in hand. Like, just watch it. You know, and if you are offending people, if you are, you know, rubbing people the wrong way, be empathetic. But I think here's the biggest caveat about it all. Like, you gotta be yourself. Like, some people just won't like you just because you're you. They don't like who you are. They don't like your confidence. They don't like whatever it is about you. They might just simply might not like the way you look, like the way you talk. And I think I've been battling with that. I think this is like, patience is like why I've been battling with, like, you know, why isn't that person just not like me? Like I didn't say nothing to them. Like, there's people who just like really
You
don't
see
like
no wrong in what you did, genuinely.
Yeah, I mean, that's a fair point. Maybe there was something I did. Nah, but like, even just a person I just have I don't like you. I never understood that, man. That shit is like, that's hurtful.
I don't understand why anyone would say that to you. But you touch on something, the idea of you and being yourself, and we were talking about this earlier, is like, there's the person I see, right? There's the person I think you see, and then there's the person I want you to see.
Yeah.
I feel like those are the three sort of different versions of you you're always dealing with, or at least I am. And the closer you can get those three together, the more identified you are.
What do you mean by identified?
You feel like whole, you feel like one person. When the person I see, the person I think you see, and the person I want you to see are all the same person. Because if I was to break those down, and I'm actually going to in another segment, they're very different people. And when you read it, you probably won't believe how I see myself. Because they're only seeing one part of me.
Oh yeah, I know.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you probably drink out.
So being you, which you? You know what I'm saying?
No, you're right. Like, that's a fairly. No, I mean, it's accurate. I think they're three different people. Like, you know, how the world views you, how you view yourself, and who you want to be. They're definitely more than often like different people. I'd say most people aren't aligned or identified.
Because there's conversations you have with yourself. that no one hears.
Yeah.
And only you know that dialogue.
Yes, and I think that's important because like, I think people like box you in too. Like you might have said something yesterday, but you might say something today that might be who you are. You might acknowledge who that was a mistake in the past, and people still won't allow you to be. They won't allow you to be different in their eyes. Like you as long as you feel it, that's most important. But like, there's people, man, you can make a mistake in 2012, and they'll still you could be a totally different person in 2017, but they still won't let you be that person in 2017. They're just like, yo, that 2012 guy is who this guy is. And I think dealing with that, for me, has been like the biggest like day-to-day struggle. Like for me, like losing without like patience, like me trying to stay patient and me trying to stay calm. And the biggest struggle for me was like, for me in general, I think it's just like making sure I'm not losing it. You guys, life's like a growth. Like I've done things in the past. I might not have showed up one time. I might not have responded to a text. I might not, but.
So like being consistent.
Yeah.
You're saying.
But I will never. But like I'll never be consistent. I almost challenge everyone to be less sensitive. Like, know who you're dealing with. Like the fact that I don't text you back doesn't mean I don't like you. I could be totally entrenched in a moment somewhere else. Like, why would you want to steal my time? Like, I'm doing something else, and I genuinely am doing something else. And when it's our time to connect or regroup, or we'll do that. And I'll reach out. I reach out to everybody. But they don't remember that stuff. They remember the times where they sent you a text and you didn't respond. So, for me, I'm trying to figure out whether I need to be better. Well, we always need to be better. Sorry, it's a better way. We always need to be better. Like we should be pushing for it. I do need to be better. But whether it's warranted or whether it's not warranted, like that sort of like the eyes that people give you, like the treatment that people give you. I just want to make sure that like I'm being critical of myself properly. I think that's like that dialogue you have to. We talk about dialogue, like internal dialogue. We got to make sure that dialogue's proper too. Like, are you being fair to yourself? And for a while, it wasn't. I think I was letting other people really dictate who I was, and like I was letting them like break me down and like be like, you're this type of person. You did this and that, and
Well, it's like you. So those people, you must value their opinion. Or not.
Yeah, that's it. I wouldn't say. Yeah, I mean, you value everyone's opinion, right? I mean, like I don't just like
not me. I value the people I respect. I value their opinion, and then if they say something, they can say something that can hurt me, or they can say something that makes me feel really great. And there's other people that they can say anything that doesn't affect me at all because, I don't. Not that I don't respect them, but I just don't value their opinion as much.
I wouldn't. For me, I wouldn't even say value. I would say like you hear everyone though. Like I try to hear everyone. Like I try to like whatever point someone's making, like whether I quote unquote value it or not. I'm doing my best to hear them.
Yeah, you always gotta listen.
I always hear them out, but I guess you're right. There's certain people that their opinions matter more. Yeah,
like your mom, dad.
Well,
maybe not for everyone.
Yeah, I mean, but I don't know. I mean, like my dad's like the realist for this. I think this is the best advice he ever gave me in life. He's like, I can tell you, Carl, to do anything you want in this world, but you're gonna have to live with the consequences. So he really doesn't really. My dad doesn't really give me that sort of like day-to-day advice, and nor do I seek it or want it, because I always thought that was like his way of teaching or his way of like making sure I thought for myself.
Yeah. And if you make mistakes, that's on you.
And that's how the world is.
Yeah. You need to make mistakes. You need to go through that struggle.
Yeah, and I think a lot of kids like get to a certain point in their life, and it's just like they don't realize that's how the world is. Like you gotta own up to everything you do. After a while, mommy and daddy. Some people never get that sort of justice. Like where there's definitely like, maybe in the president of the United States is an example of that where he'll never get that sort of justice that like we all.
First Trump reference on labor. Official.
I didn't say his name, man. I just said the president of the United
We all
States.
know who he is.
Whoever it is at that time. That guy, he really never has had the answer for things. And, I always thought that, like, life was the thing where, that's why I really don't believe in karma so much. A lot of people talk about karma and these things. I don't think people answer the things, man. I don't think he loses sleep over his. I don't think he loses sleep over. He
It's
might
coming.
live. He might live. I mean, he's old. He already lived a full life. I mean, like, what? Like, what did it?
But he's gonna die of a heart attack. I'm just gonna say it.
If he did, like, he lived
He's gonna die
75
young.
years of, like, destroying people, and he became the president of the United States.
Karma's gonna happen. It's gonna happen bad. It's gonna come down on him in a way he can't recover from.
And that's where I've always, like, sort of. That's kind of where I'm at right now in life. Like, I don't see people like. Well, is that true? When? How?
It's there's no right or wrong. It's up to what you believe.
Yeah. No, it's 200%.
You know.
Yeah.
I believe it, and I always try to do a good deed a day. And then when something good happens, I like to believe, oh, it's because I did this. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know. And you know, even if it's not true, why not just be a good person and do good? You know?
Yes. That.
But I guess the idea of believing in karma helps me be that person.
Yeah.
So
I think that was the greatest way to put it. Like, we all do things. We all gotta, like, find ways to be a better person. What makes us, like, really want to wake up and do good? Because sometimes it's tough, like, especially when you're not where you want to be in life. It's tough to wake up and just have that mentality where I want to go the extra mile to be good. So whatever drives us as people, I'm all for it. Like, I'm not, like, saying that to, like, be like, nah, karma doesn't exist. But it's something that I struggle with internally, where I'm like, man, if I make this person feel this bad today, what's gonna happen tomorrow?
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? There's people who've destroyed those things every day of their life, and they're eating at the highest level. It's a very nasty thing to just acknowledge.
I used to honestly, genuinely feel like I don't need anybody. And I used to live my life that way. Like, I got this all on my own. And a part of that was probably because, my parents weren't always there for me growing up. And I just wanted to get away and prove that I got this without your help. And as of late, I've realized you need people so badly. Like, this world revolves around people, and people are what give you perspective. People are what give you happiness in relationships. You need people to get to any place you want to be. You can't do it on your own.
You know what's funny? You bring this dialogue up. I don't think I've had this one yet with myself. I don't think I've ever. Like, right now, I would say I'm probably on the side of where you were, where you spoke up first. Like, I don't really. You need people for certain things, but, like, I think the core thing, like happiness, I don't think you need anyone. Well, and I think that's for me, that's like my purpose on earth, like, to be happy. And I'm just trying to get to that point where I don't need anyone for that. So it's like, I think I've had that dialogue to get to where I need to be in my career. Sure, you need people. Like, people drive business, people drive everything. But in terms of my personal happiness, I'm not sure.
Well, I believe you see what you know. Am I saying that right? Or no, you know what you see. You know what you see, right? And when you talk to different people, you see different things. You think about different things, and you see different things. And so as long as you're constantly growing, only people can do that. Because only people are the form of dialogue and conversation you can have. You can only talk to yourself for so long.
True. Yeah, 200%. I just think we need to, like, do a better job as people, like, to not need other people too. Like I have that. I don't want to, like. I don't like the idea of needing anyone. I don't like the idea of people thinking they need people, cause you don't.
I was there too.
You don't need. I don't need, like, people like, Karl, you're single, like, blah,
you don't
blah.
like the idea of wanting to need anything.
Yes, that's a fact. Because
that idea of need
deteriorates your character.
It comes off as weakness.
Yeah. Like, you really broke it down. I agree. Like,
No, I was there. I felt the same way, so
yeah.
I can relate.
You know, I wouldn't say necessarily weakness. I could, I just think that like man, like what I can't let other people control how I do things in this world, because once I do that, uh, I lose a lot of purpose. I lose probably a lot of focus, and I probably lose a lot of happiness, because, like I said, you have to answer for your actions. You listen to people, certain people. You get influence from certain people, but end of the day, I'm gonna have to own up to everything I do in this world. So that makes me of the perception of relying on people less. So maybe I should take out the I don't less. I think we need less like needs, like a couple people in your life possibly. But the whole purpose of needing anything I don't like. I don't like at all.
I get it.
Racy's a younger self, younger him.
It makes me smile.
Yeah.
Yeah. Young grasshopper. Your day will come.
Nah, man, my day's never gonna come.
So I want to ask you, what is the biggest risk you've taken, and did it pay off?
Biggest risk. Tough question for me to answer because I don't think I view anything I do as a risk.
We'll talk to that then.
Yeah, just because like you make decisions where like you weigh the pros and cons, and like what's the worst thing that can I really form my thought process like what's the worst thing that can happen to me? What, I go out to LA, like I've heard people say, I moved out to LA, that's my biggest risk. Like what happens if LA doesn't work? You probably go back home. As simple as that. Like, it's how big of a risk was it? You went out to LA, you tried to make it, and then you went back home. So I'm fortunate enough to say that I have a home, that I have people who will provide that sort of home for me if things went bad. I can't say that anything I've done has been that sort of like risky. Like I think there's other people where they have less stability at home or in around them, where like every decision they make, it's a bigger risk. Like it's for, but I can say, and I'm thankful for my parents and the foundation I've had. Like if me going to New York, every weekend to work on building my clientele for my entertainment law space, that's not a risk for me. I spend a lot of money here that's why I shouldn't be spending. I'm in corridors of the city that I probably shouldn't be in. But that's not that big of a risk for me. Other people around me like, oh, it's risky for you to do this and that and that. I'm like, nah, I can always go home and regroup.
See, I see a risk as when you make a decision that can potentially make you lose a lot of things.
Like cheating on your girlfriend. Is that a risk? Is that an example?
That is a risk. You lose a relationship. I mean, it's, I guess, risky if you love that girl. Or if someone quits their job to pursue something and they lose income, I feel like you have to lose something that's big, and that's considered a risk.
This conversation has definitely sparked a dialogue that I'll probably have to have with myself over the next, couple years. Like, this idea of deeding things, because when I just brought that scenario of like, cheating on a girl, for example, and like the thought of like losing that girl, my natural instinct was like, just get another girl, or like you know what I mean, like all right, I'll just go back to being single. That was like my natural, like how big of a risk was it? Like, I think that's definitely immaturity. I definitely gotta like that definitely helped me this conversation. I think like that's why I think conversation's good, but like that, but I still don't know where that'll end up. Like, I think this is an open dialogue. Maybe when we do the next one of these and you interview me again, I might have a totally different perspective on what I need. Right, but
that's the hope, man. That's all I can hope for is like giving you some new perspective. You're giving me new perspective. So
yeah,
that's all about.
Yeah.
No, this is great, man. I think to wrap things up, I just want to ask you one final question. I ask this to everybody, and it's, what is your advice to anyone on how to live a more meaningful and creative life?
I'm good. I'm good at this. I think I coach kids every season for basketball AAU, and I think
Poor kids.
nah, those kids, man. I'm telling you, those kids are like, don't be afraid to be you. And that's easier said than done. Oh my God, it's so easy to say, right? Be you, right? We always say, whatever, be you. Be unapologetically you. Don't make this world make you feel bad because, you know, you're different. Like, but the world will. The world. I always tell them, like, this life ain't fair. You know, parents always teach, this isn't fair. My kids, this is wrong. This is, no, like, life isn't fair. Like, that's just how it's always been. And I think once you get that sort of thought process out your head, like, once you realize life isn't fair, man, I think you can be a lot more patient. I think you can really see the fruits of life. But just don't get into an entitled perspective where when things go wrong in every single aspect of your life, like the MTA, you know, subway's not, like, it's slow today. Like, come on, man. Like, you wrote like the 6-paragraph rant about how the MTA is bad. Like,
It's New York, man.
yeah, it's New York. Like, it's like, but it's just like, come on, man. We have to be better than that. I think my advice is just like, be you. Ask these questions to yourself every day. Learn what humility is. This is my last point. Learn what it is to be humble. Because, you know, I think I strike a lot of people as not being humble. A lot. But I think there's people who are close to me in life who really, every decision I make, man, I go back and say, was that the right decision? And I think that takes, like, humility to look yourself in the mirror is like that's humility. And be honest with that person. Like, not to just look yourself in the mirror and be like, that's the greatest. I like to be honest with who that person is. That's humility. That's how you grow. That's how you break. I wouldn't say break yourself down. That's how you become a better person. You have to be honest with yourself. Learn what it is to be humble. Because you got to be confident. People try to take. Don't let someone say, yo, you're being too confident. Like, know what your worth is. Be confident. Step into a room and, you know, let that be your room. But know what it truly means to be humble. Discover what that is.
Fucking love it.
Yeah.
Thanks, man.
Always, man.
Yo, where can people follow you if they want to?
At Esquire Folks, ESQFOWLKES on all platforms. I think I'm an interesting character on those things, especially Twitter. I have open dialogue a lot, but I'm a very motivating guy to follow, I think, on Twitter. I give a lot of, I wouldn't say advice, I give a lot of stuff that I'm dealing with, and I just open it up to the world. You know, points that I feel like are necessary in my life, I'll just throw them out on Twitter. And people shouldn't look at it as me acting like I know everything or being this. That's how sometimes it comes across. But let's follow each other, man. ESQFOWLK. I can't promise you'll follow back on IG.
Fucking love it, man. Yo, this guy's an underrated art director. His posts are fucking nice. Man, the tones, the light.
I try hard. I go
crazy.
I try hard.
Yo, thanks, bro.
Love you.